I could hear you then, Christoph, when you said, could you hear me? I could then.
Okay, my name is Chris. Just call me Chris. Christopher.
Hi, sorry, Chris. All right. Just had major audio problems there. So you're a glober, Chris?
I believe the Earth is a globe.
Yeah. Um, so do you understand what I've been showing here with the can you see what's on the I've turned that off. I'll turn it back on for you actually. Should be able to turn it on now. The audio problems was me being a monk. Up, turn down. I just never went there to check it. Right, that should be showing on now. Can you see what's on the screen?
Yes.
The writing is reversed. It's like just on the Google Hangout, it's reversed, but we can still see the main model. And I'll just clear all this for now. Undo all of them steps. There, just get the model back to something like this, and I'll close them lines down. You believe it's a globe. Now, would you agree that this expression of why things are being hidden is accurate?
Yes. In a sense, yes.
Mm-hmm. Agree that the horizon is somewhat parallel to the tangent line of sight.
Approximately, yes. It's
Approximate.
exact at the tangent point.
Yep. Only one point of contact. Yep, I'd agree with that. But further, could we agree that even a computer or any mathematician wouldn't be able to define an average difference in height? Given I would draw parallels like this, the average in height would be negligible. Person would assert that this is a parallel line. This line here,
Approximately.
in
Yes.
approximately, yes. But on that approximate view in real life terms, we could approximately estimate that we would see the bottoms of all people's feet. Would you say that's a fair estimation? I'll just around the horizon, if
That
people were stood, we might approximately see their shoes. That is that person's shoe. This is the sight line. We might see all of their feet lining up.
that's the point at which I start to disagree because just past the horizon, the bottoms of their shoes they get blocked by the
Yes, quite. Yeah, blocked here. We can't see his shoe now because look, we can see what's happening. He just beyond the horizon, literally just, and he's being obscured, meaning he's dropping below this line. He's now dropping below the sight line.
Yes. Now
So
compare that with your drawing of the 6 foot people, and
yes,
where one looks like a child. Compare that situation.
compare this to that. That's
You have another drawing up there with a half of a house.
yeah. I've deleted that one. It was I've just using this as a grease pencil on a 3D model, and you have to keep deleting. It's not a fixed model,
Oh,
so
okay.
delete. It's this pencil, just like a notepad. It's not really, but it's literally stays in space. Like it's all weird. Here is the depiction of what you're talking about. Here is there's a person on the horizon, and here is somebody just beyond the horizon.
The person just beyond the horizon should have their shoes partially hidden.
Yes, this is what I'm drawing here.
and that person's head should be almost as high as the person exactly on the horizon.
Oh, yes, quite like this. Yep. You still there, yeah?
Yes, I'm here.
Yep. The person's feet here are partially obscured, or I'm just drawing the representation of that. Now, I know this is pretty confusing, and also because if you agree here, right, you have a lot of, I'm not saying soul searching, but you have a lot of questions about reality that are definitely going to impact on you. So really, I'm asking just for honesty to yourself, or not even to tell me, but you can see what's being expressed here. What you've asked for is this, and there he is. Now, what I would say is, can we capture this? I can capture this in real life on a hill. Do you think you can capture this on the salt flats?
There would be optical effects interfering with this
At
observation.
3 miles, yes. At 3 miles, there would be optical effects. There would be less. At 1 mile, there would be less. 1 mile genuinely curves. It genuinely has a bulge in the middle of it, 8 inch. So you could definitely, that's just the physical bulge, yeah, is where you would actually say 1 mile it would be less than the 8 inch because it's a whole mile in between. But lowering the height defines a new horizon. So at 2 miles, we have a person, less atmosphere, 1.5 miles, less atmosphere, less distortion, less.
Yes. But
So we should be able to
you would also need to get the camera very close to the ground, right?
yes. Here, this depiction on the model is, this analogy is, this person is 6 foot, this person is 6 foot, this distance is 6 miles to the Bedford level. Would you agree that that's fair in me using this analogy? Me saying that this expression of this drawing has been illustrated many times by other people. It's not like I'm the only person using it.
Correct.
True expression of what's happening.
Yes.
And in the middle, we know this expression, an expression of an idea, this 6 mile expression, which we can scale out to the full 6 mile. Yeah, we can scale this out. This expression, though, all levels, that there is always the contact point. There is forever the contact point here, and the average height here across this point, even though it is only approximate, it is not exact, it is not truly parallel. There is only one truly parallel point, and it's not really one point of contact, but we are taking in lay terms the photographer's line of sight. All globers, or most globers, accepting the knowledge and sticking true to this, that to explain it to flat earthers, no, you can't see the curve because it's curving down away from you. Here is a curve curving down away. Everything in terms of the geometry. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Approximate. Yes. Yes.
It's in that approximate that I'm saying we should approximately see in real life. Now, I'm going to claim that what we do see in real life is people reducing with 1 point perspective.
My claim is that if you get the camera low enough, the horizon
Yep.
distance will change, right?
Yes.
But in real life, when you're trying to make this observation, you need to take into account that the ground needs to be a, a section of a perfect sphere. It needs to be
Yes.
perfectly um, equally distant from the center of the Earth, right?
Yes.
It needs to be smooth, a smooth, perfectly
Only
smooth surface.
approximately in that sense. So
Now,
approximately, as in a straight road on a surface
right,
of a planet.
right, similar to that. But
Yep.
in real life, it would be hard to find a perfectly smooth surface, even on the salt flats, right?
No, I'd agree that it's perfectly valid to find it there, because on the salt flats they do claim that the whole whatever it is, it deviates 1 meter. The surface elevation, the topography deviates 1 meter. Thing is that if it didn't deviate 1 meter, it would be exactly comparable to 24,901 miles of perfect glass sphere.
Right. So because it deviates from a perfect sphere, because the ground has rocks and hills and everything else, you won't be able to make this
Yep.
exact observation in real life. You understand?
No, you would. Yes, you most definitely would. Here, the raw analogy of it is um, this guy here is looking to the horizon. Now, we're at a giant's point of view, so we can see left to right curvature, yeah? But now you can imagine this, that the horizon starts to straighten out at the horizon. See the little guy, because he's gone over the horizon. Well, but when he was watching him walk over the horizon, is it true that he would have been here at this point? This point must have happened before he's walked out of sight.
Before his shoes started to disappear. Yes.
Yeah, we cannot capture it with because it's a bit pixelated and blurry. So we employ a telescopic photo zoom ultra lens. Then we zoom in and we capture that at 3 miles. We still have the same atmosphere. The camera of the lens doesn't care. It's the atmosphere that is stopping the vision. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
The clarity. Yes, so we bring it back. 2 miles. We live on a planet. We define a lower horizon. This guy just lowers his height. Camera then, we just lower the height. Oh, just imagine that it's like lower the height. There's a new horizon defined. I can show you roughly with this again, as in lower him literally. Lower him. There now roughly is his new horizon, and as he looks, oh, it's there even there, but it's definable. There would be the tangent point. It's almost just about just there. Well, it's around there. Like these, it's going in so small that these one increments. This is less than 1/10 of a degree, and it's a sharp jump. You can see that low angle, but there's the tangent line of sight around there. There'd be the tangent point, but it's defined. It's definable. And what I mean is the sense. This sphere is physical. This straight line is straight. That is a straight line. Inflating on a balloon. That line of sight constantly doing the exact same phenomena at all levels. Meaning that on the global level, and I do have the 1-to-1 scale model, the same phenomena, reason of a person being obscured exists because they've gone over a curve. We see buildings in real life that we shouldn't see. I will also add that we see people on flat land. You go to the salt flats and you try and take a photograph. Yeah, the person's friend, your friend that you're photographing, his tread will forever be, there's his shoes. Yeah, there's his foot. Yeah, and here's his big fucking tread or whatever forever below the horizon. It would never be like this. You know, just that analogy. It would never be truly on the horizon. Achieve this in real life. You can only achieve this on a hill.
You, if you're talking about a model, a perfect computer model, all right, then you
Yeah,
draw this situation, and you have a person standing exactly on the horizon point. You will see the bottom of their shoes, and it'll be perfect, like you're saying. Okay, if they walk
yeah,
like even 1 millimeter further, right, the bottoms of their shoes will start to become obscured by the
yes,
because they're past the horizon. All right.
yes,
Now, the reason we can't make this observation in the real world is because there are all kinds of things interfering with the observation. All right.
yeah. All kinds
If
of things interfering
if
with
you
the
want,
observation of a tiny soul. You take this onto a car. You this isn't a problem. The stones and pebbles on the ground could be a problem, yeah, for seeing a person. But what I'm saying here is the bottoms of objects are the bottoms of buildings. One building should be perfectly level with another building. Now, in reality, the perspective always shows that they will never be level on the horizontal line, ever. It is an impossibility. That's like, it cannot happen. This is what I'm saying. You will forever find the horizon lies further up an object. It is always somewhat the object. Here's a house. Here's a horizon going behind the house. Forever, it is always somewhat above it. It is never on the house like that. You will never find this situation. But I'm sure you'll agree, photographers could have exploited this. World photograph taken of a house on the horizon, and then we see here that it really is that. You can see that it's visibly on the horizon. There's like the front doorstep of a side door into your house. That expression fully visible against the sky.
yes,
Do you
you
agree
would see
that?
that. You would see that if the world was free of visible optical obstructions. That's what you would see.
Yes, so you're agreeing with that. So then it's perfectly valid for me to hold Globus to account and say, go to the salt flats, throw some boxes on the floor, and just drive away from them, get your camera out, and film them. Then when you film them, all of the boxes that you have dropped at certain distances should then turn out like this.
But
A big box in your foreground and maybe a little box throwing them quarter of a mile apart. But this is what you should be finding. Do you agree that you should go to the salt flats and you should find that?
I am claiming
That
that
one,
I am claiming that on the salt flats there are optical effects that will interfere with this observation. But in the
yes,
3D
at 3 miles.
model, in a life-size model of the Earth on the computer, yes, that's what you would see if you were to model this out.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, and it's an argumentative point that Globus could call on. I don't mean that you're going to argue. I'm just saying, like, it's a debatable point. And you put your camera down to the surface area, you get blurring on a smooth floor as well. Atmosphere, the blurry, it just goes blurry going close to the floor. I've seen hills and mountains where you can see crisply the peak. So I know that the optical effect of a hill at 1 mile is fine. We can see it because the camera's raised off the floor now. It's having no problem. It's only when the camera gets close to the object that it struggles. So a 6-foot person struggles to see a person at 3 miles. We go, okay, just sit in a chair. Sit in a chair and take a photograph with your P900 of somebody at 1.5 miles. They should be perfectly crisply against the sky. Might have a bit of heat haze around the shoes, but really you'd just be able to lift the camera up a foot and a foot down to prove that it was the horizon. There, the person would fully obscure out of sight, but they'd be clear. This is what I'm saying, like a person zooming in on a person at 1.5 miles with a P900, there'd be a bit of heat haze, but they'd be clear. You could see them. 1 mile. Or even go for half a mile. You might have to literally put your camera on the floor, but half a mile, the same effect should be seen.
Yes, that is true if the situations are perfect. But in the real world, you would still have some effects. Now, what I would also like you to keep in mind, I mean, I've seen you draw this, you've been making these models and stuff, but you've never drawn a hill on your circles, on your globe, your model of the Earth.
I have, you might not have seen it, but I can load it up now. I've drawn a hill, and load it up for now. Close that one down. Because this one, if you, now, yeah, what it is, like, it's apparent, and the topography of pebbles on the ground and all that can do what you're saying. I'll totally agree that it can distort it and make it hard to find the observation. But here's where raising the camera and lowering it comes in to play to discount atmospheric refraction, meaning you raise the camera and the image at the hill should crisp up. When to focus, they've gone in front of the hill, their feet should sharpen with just raising the camera. Because all it was that you were getting like the heat haze on the tip of a hill, which does exist, don't deny that. But here I do have a hill. I'm going to get it on now. Just loading up this other model, other program, SketchUp. I'm really just going to find that model. One second, still just opening around models. Too many useless models I've got as well. Oh, hell, man. You still there?
Yes, I am here.
Just having trouble trying to find the model I've named it Hill, but I've got loads of models stupidly named Hill and Hill/1 and all that. I think that's it. Yeah. Come on, man. Sorry, that's a scrap on that. I've named it something stupid.
Okay,
But
well,
what I do have as a hill,
what I would like to see is you model a ball, and then you add hills and valleys all around the edge, so that it more closely mimics the actual Earth, the
no,
profile.
all that would do is validate, because what I'm saying there is what NASA could do. Now, here, if you can just go with this is going to be a thought experiment. NASA put up the funds to create a model to prove to the people of Earth that their planet is indeed a ball. Now, NASA have the funds and the capability to do that. Do you agree? To produce a high-tech model?
A computer model like you can do.
That precedes mine, that exceeds it, that goes far beyond. It has atmosphere, hills, and people walking around it.
It depends on how high quality you're talking about.
I'm talking photorealistic. NASA wants to prove the Earth a globe, so they employ their best Disney Pixar animators. Yes, literally just taking a bit of the piss there, but they employ their best animators and they produce a scale model that shows from ISS height zooming down. Now, they can do this. It is within their capability. Do you agree?
I'd say no.
They don't have the funds to throw money at that in that sense.
The animation studios, even the Pixar, Disney, even they
No,
can't get lifelike, perfectly lifelike.
okay, they can't get lifelike, but can they get the physical shape just portrayed? All I'm looking for is a yes answer here. It's just like they can throw a better model than me.
I don't
They
want to
can
speculate
stomp
on
all
this.
over my model.
It would be better than yours.
Yes, yes, a lot better. It would be a lot better than mine. Now, it would have hills and valleys like you're asking me to do. Would you assume that it would? I'd assume it would. It would have hills and valleys. It would probably be an exact replica, in fact.
Exact is going too far.
As in, it would look like what you wanted me to model. It would satisfy your notion of what you wanted me to do. You would
More
be
closely.
happy staring around
Yes.
that it's a flat model. Now, what I will tell you here is flying through the mountains and flying through the cities, any flat earther could validate that it looks flat and therefore the Earth could genuinely be a globe. Because flying around these cities and everything, NASA's just made this animation and look, it looks fucking stunning. And it looks flat. Flat Earth on a rocky surface, yeah? Everyone would be going, that's bad, that's bad. I would then say, okay, NASA, please can I go on your website, have a look around your model. Please can I have a look around the lake? And immediately what I would notice is curvature. At a height of 500 foot, I should be noticing curvature. At 1,000 foot, noticing curvature. Now, this point here is unavoidable. It is unavoidable in a computer program in Maya. You know what? I don't know if you know what Maya is, but it's what you're watching all your films on. They've all been made on programs like Maya. Animation program like the Blender program I've just used. They've all been made. All these films have been made within this. Now, the computer cannot get away from a sphere being the constant of a pi, 3.1415. Yeah, it is the 3.14 is the circumference of a circle. It is unavoidable. It marries down to all levels. Now, on Google Earth, you see the curvature at 500 feet. On my model, you see it at 500 feet. On NASA's model, what they could produce, you would see it at 500 feet. Hence why they are not producing this. Hence why you will never see them produce this. They will never produce this model. Because yes, it would satisfy the notion for people that are not going to be as accepting as me. But where I would be, okay, let's have a look at the ocean. Why? That's just an ocean. It's boring. Because I want to see it curve. And it should be present. The computer could not hide it.
If you, suppose you were over the ocean, okay, and you wanted to see evidence of curvature, all right.
Yeah.
Now, if you're right on top of the water in the middle of the ocean, the horizon would be pretty close to you, right? Now, if you go up and you're like at 6 feet, like like if there was a person standing there on the water, the horizon would be what, 3 miles away?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, even with a person 6 foot tall standing on top of the water, when they look at the horizon, they're not looking exactly perpendicular to a line that goes straight up through their head. They have to look slightly downwards in order to see that horizon.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes.
All right. Now, if the person goes up 500 feet in the air, okay, and in that case, the person would have to look down in order to see the horizon. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
The very fact that the person needs to look downward to see the new horizon is evidence that there is curvature on the.
No. That's evidence that if the ball was there, I would have to look down. That is my agreement on that is the theory. On the theory of the ball, if I move away from it, I must look down. I am not validating that I look down to a horizon. I do not believe that I can define a horizon. It's flat Earth. The horizon carries on. The globe analogy, if I take off in a hot air balloon, then yes, and the physics behind the tangent line of sight, I must continuously look lower and lower to maintain sight with a horizon that is increasingly further and further away the higher I go. Both my angle is lowering and the horizon is also going further away in distance. I can only agree with in theory. And here I have the pictures. Do you see the 2D pictures? They are all illustrative and indicative of
Yes.
on my model. Now, in this sense, there is no way the ground clutter here, we can see this picture, it says ground clutter. But when it's not, when it's just the ocean, there is nothing that intrudes with the line of sight. It is just the raw logic of line of sight stops you seeing further because you can't see because the planet's bent away.
Yes. So what would that look like on the flat Earth? If the Earth were flat and you were to look at the horizon and then you fly straight up into the air 500 feet or something, all right?
Yep.
What would change about the line of sight to the horizon? Or would anything change?
I'd claim that it doesn't. The only thing that does change is a mirroring reflection of the ground. The ground can create that drop eventually wherein you are just forever looking at mirroring atmosphere.
Okay, so you're saying
I say nothing changes. I say the Earth is truly flat where people stray away from. I say it's infinitely flat.
Oh, you believe it's infinitely flat. Okay. How would you explain if it were infinitely flat, then as you rise up in the air, there should be no drops in the horizon, right?
I say that there is no drops, but I know some flat earthers argue that there is drops. I think that they're arguing about points that they're not fully understanding, and all it is in simple terms is atmosphere mirror reflection. That is it. Observation of it is observed at half a foot off the water. It's observed at 1 foot off the water at a distance. It's observed at 6 foot off the water at a distance. Like at the horizon, you get the mirroring. At 100 foot, you get the mirroring at the horizon. It's not a big leap for me to say at 1,000 foot, you get the mirroring at the horizon. At 3,000 foot, you get the mirroring at the horizon. To view, because you have that better higher angle and less atmosphere. You're going up, it's clearing out, but you're still looking to the ground where there is a lot of atmosphere and forever mirroring line. So when you're 35,000 feet in the air and you are looking at a mirroring line. A mirroring line literally creates the illusion of a lower horizon. This is what allows ships to float, which should be impossible optically on a globe. Any aim of a ship, you float an image of a ship. If the ship is in its entirety, then that's some serious luminance going on there.
Okay. I would like to know. I would like to know where do you live? What country are you in?
In the UK.
Okay. And can you tell me your real name?
Yep, Lyndon.
Lyndon. Okay.
Yep.
I would say that there are effects that you cannot explain with that. I'm not sure what you mean by when you say mirroring. I think you're talking about an optical effect. You know, when you're looking at the horizon, and you see distortion, you see mirages and stuff. But that would not explain. I believe that does not explain the amount of horizon drop that we see over, for example, the ocean as you rise up into the air.
Fair point. You could say that because I'm not really in a position to explain that, but I still might be with refraction. In terms of what I'm talking about, I'm witnessing myself right now on Blender with water, as in a shallow angle. Of water, you can see it's blue and it's black and it's white. It just ripples like that to your eyes, doesn't it? But as you get lower and lower, you can almost capture a glimpse of reflection coming back at you of yourself, like of objects around it. The lower you get to sloshing water, the better resolved a picture can become, especially at the edge and at the horizon. A picture can become so resolved that it's clear like a mirror, and therein you see the boat upside down while the boat's still floating above it. It's just floating on its mirror reflection. Sense that I'm just saying the mirror reflection just allows a clearer image to come through. The water settles. It's got so sorry, just reading the chat there. Block for Block Live. Sorry for hijacking chat a bit, but I felt it important to pass on respect. Thanks. No, but I was Spirit of Longthorn. Honestly, mate, not watched the chat that much to know you said, so it's fine now. And sorry, I've even forgot your name. Sorry, mate. But I forgot what I was talking about as well.
Okay, so you were trying to explain mirroring to me. I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris. Yeah. Mirroring, yeah. The mirroring is...
I have a question. Would you be able to create an equation to explain what you were just describing?
In terms of with the mirroring and stuff, no.
Would you be open to learning the math necessary to express that in equation form?
No, because I am actually all over it, not in equation form, but just all over it in terms of thinking of waves and wave compression. And this is a true thing, and it's you are looking across 3 miles of ocean, and directly in front of you, where you can see the pebbles in the water surface, like at your feet, the water is clear and see-through, isn't it? Would you agree?
Yes, if it were
You look
pure
down,
water.
you see the sand. Your gaze pans out over the ocean becomes immediately dark. The water is dark and it's just bluey dark, yeah, and you can't really see much. And as you raise your view, you get the hitting of reflection sunlight. The ocean itself starts to turn white, especially up to the horizon. The whole reflection of light compresses because the waves, you are looking across a carpet of waves, and the troughs right at your feet are wide. They are wide in your field of view. The troughs half a mile out, they are very small, almost as small as a teacup. 1 mile out, the troughs of ocean waves, yeah, the ocean waves, then troughs that are splashing about, are about as wide as the opening of a can, a drinks can. 2 miles out, 3 miles out, they're all sloshing together. But the way you're seeing it at such a shallow angle, these waves are compressing like a concertina effect, exponential. A concertina, you know, when you bring it together, if you close a concertina, you have almost a flat surface. You stretch it, you see the peaks and troughs for what they are. Now, when we're looking across the ocean, the 3 mile troughs are arguably a pinhead compared to the splashing waves right in front of you. The ones at the horizon are arguably like a pinhead. Compressing them all the way to your vision, it's like looking across a glass. Literally. This on the modeling program, I have the modeling program, and I have water. You've done a water simulation, I've done a few. Effect.
All right. I would like you to try to learn the math involved in that, and let me see. Yeah, and also give me, what were you doing before this making flat Earth videos? What kind of hobbies did you have?
None. Nothing. I was an absolute going nowhere. Nothing. Depressed. Doing feck all. Playing computer games.
Okay, so
Wasting my life.
okay, so if I were to, if for example, I were to hypothetically convince you that the math all checks out and that there's no need to make flat Earth videos, what would you do with your time?
It's erroneous. That why would it matter what I would do with my time?
Because that would tell me how invested you are in continuing to build your presence on YouTube with these videos.
Well, I can tell you, I'm invested. I'm definitely invested. Um, I've grown up to the fact that the government have lied to me, but not only that, I've grown up to a bigger singular point that I literally have nothing to fear in death, and that it's all a lie. Literally everything. The grounding that I have here is something that no amount of harassing emails, people at your door, or government literally taking me away could put me off this. I am in this for life, mate. I've woken
Wait!
up
Don't
to the
say
fact
that. Don't say that. Don't say that you're in it for life.
I am
there
in
is
it
a
for life, mate.
possibility. I mean, right now it may seem like
In
that.
my eyes, there is no possibility. There is literally no possibility. If I go through the logic of it, what is NASA doing right now to prove it? Nothing. What have they got? They have a catalogue of errors. I could just think of flat Earth based on that. Water not lying flat level, whatever you want to call it. I could believe flat Earth just based on that. High altitude balloons not seeing curvature. I
All right.
could
Hold on a second. Okay. If I were to help you step by step and show you why you're wrong on each of those, would you then change your mind, or would you just continue making these videos?
um, hypothetically, obviously, I would accept it. I'm not going to lie to myself, but hypothetically, I'm
Okay.
telling you, there is no way you can convince me. What the opposite thing would be is if you would spend enough time, would you accept it if I convince you? Because you logically accepted this. Now, I haven't gone as hard. I could really push it and really push the points of you can see that person there, so there's the proof. That's where I'm looking for Globers to think of this themselves, to suddenly click on and go, all that I need to do to shut block for block up is just capture that.
I've told you already that in real life, taking a real photo of what you're demonstrating on your models would be difficult. But
Yeah,
if you,
difficult, not undoable.
what do you,
It's a very, very controversial subject, the flat Earth, globe Earth. So the difficulty in taking a photo is negatable. The difficulty can be sidetracked. Very big prize is the globe Earth thing here. Nothing is too difficult. And me saying this to capture a person, NASA should be turning around, clamping me the fuck up, yeah, and getting a telescopic photo lens, taking a picture of towers or whatever. Just the things behaving like I'm saying they should be behaving on a globe. They should be showing that. Be showing that. A globe, like Sean Hufford has come to my channel. I've told him, go and get your drone and do that then. Go and prove this. Have they even tried to prove it? No.
what a, have you seen videos
If you can
of
see the ship
horizon
on the
drop?
horizon, okay, let's go here. This is going to be a bit more enforcing, but the ship on the horizon, does it appear to do what I'm saying it should do? I'd say yes. Like, it appears like it's literally on the horizon. There's one on the horizon, then we captured ships going behind you. People have captured this, yeah? If it can happen with a ship, then it can happen with a person. Now, when we see a crisp ship, as in the colour is perfectly crisp and visible, as in it's only about 2-3 miles away, and we still see that it visibly looks like it's on the horizon, therein, a person stood by the ship would be seen in almost perfect clarity. So therein, a person at the salt flats would be observed approaching the horizon dropping, and then literally approaching the horizon and doing what we both agreed, being obscured just beyond it.
Yes,
Before
but
they are obscured,
why are you so
yeah, go on.
hung up on seeing a person being partially obscured? Why can't we show
To
a
wake
building
people up.
being partially
That's an
obscured?
analogy. That is a visual analogy. That is to wake people up. It is a visual analogy. I am taking it down to the level of a person, but I am also echoing that it can be done with buildings. Go and do this with buildings, but to prove this point to yourself, go and capture the mismatch of pillars on bridges against the ocean. Go and capture the mismatch of them rising above the horizon, just like if a big pillar actually walked to the horizon, it would rise up, the same effect, yes?
Yeah.
So go and look at these 100-mile spans of bridges. Go and look at piers. Go and look at people on the salt flats. A person walking away on truly flat land, on anything that was level and flat like the salt flats, within 500 feet, 1 foot of the horizon will have fallen. 500 feet, that is shouting distance. Yes, the person, you might have to shout very loud to get them to hear you, because it's a fair distance. It's like a other end of a warehouse. It's a fair distance away, but you should see a foot of their body rise above the horizon. That is noticeable.
All right. So tell me, how many of these observations, how many of these points would I have to explain to you for you to change your mind and shut
Explain
down your
none.
channel?
Explain none. Visual proof. That is the only proof I would accept. To explain none. None. Sorry. The maths is erroneous. I can tell, like, the raw logic of black holes, quantum physics, and everything, and understand it, and now I reject it. So it's erroneous. It's pointless.
If you were to say that you were open to having your mind changed on this, and that you would change your mind if I could try to, give you proof or explanation for each of the.
How could you prove it to me, though? Just in this sense, how could you prove it to me? All you could do is give me the current formula. True or not?
Yes.
Exactly, mate. The current formula. The current formula, without being too big-headed, is what I think I am. There is a tangent line of sight, which is a tabletop, but I do agree it only intersects the line of sight like a laser point would only intersect at one point would be intersecting. But it is around the horizon, the average height taken of all objects are all equal. The angle is 90 degrees. It is almost parallel. It is negligible. It's flat.
If you were to, I'm open to trying to talk to you some more. But
So,
but
Martin, yeah.
I would like you to leave the possibility open that you could change your mind and shut down your channel and have a new hobby. There are so many other things you could be looking into.
Likewise. I definitely would not consider a mathematical explanation of this because I know the mathematical theory myself. I know what is being expressed in terms of the very convoluted story of the theory of evolution and the heliocentric system, the all of it. I am aware. I have lived the same life, and I followed it. I followed it religiously. I followed the black holes, the quasars, the gravity waves, the LIDAR, the all of the stuff going on at CERN. I've watched all the documentaries. I've followed it, the progressive shit of it. I followed it all, and I swallowed it, and it validated my existence. These new gravitational waves that they discovered a few years ago, I was congratulating. Wow, isn't that good? They found gravity waves.
All right, hold on. I would say that mathematics is your friend. I mean, with math, you could show so many things. Math is good. It's useful for doing all kinds of different scientific investigations. You should learn to master it and to use it to push your own theory. You should use it as your own weapon, If you get a mastery of mathematics, that would be good for you, I would say. I mean, you would have to be able to show it what you believe in equations, but if you can do that, it would be powerful. And if I could show you the right equations, and if I could show you the photographic evidence, keeping in mind all of the distortions because of the real world, I would want you to possibly change your mind based on that.
Only with real world evidence, never with equations. No.
Equations that about how much distortion you should be able to see in different situations, for example. If we can predict the amount of distortion, would you accept that?
If what? Sorry, say again.
If we can take a real life photograph, but we have if we have the right equations to predict the amount of distortion in those photographs and they match perfectly, would you accept that?
On multiple distances, yes.
Okay, now if you just leave it right there, that would be good. I mean, you're saying that you're open to using math, you're open to visual evidence, all right? And now what's left to do is for you to learn the correct math and then the correct equations, and then eventually...
I've got the correct maths and the correct equations already. I already have that. The correct maths and the correct equations is the same equations that every glober is spouting at me.
Yes, and if you master it, And then
There's
you
nothing to
you might
master.
be
Would you agree that if I have a topographical ball, as in the circumference of the ball matches the circumference of a planet, if I can drop myself on there in character form and walk upon its surface, then whatever I am observing there through the camera view, very typical to what we would see through a camera view in real life.
if
So
the
that
ball has
is
hills and
straight up
valleys and perfectly matches the topography of the earth,
the
yes. And
perspective
there's
of
no
how I can move the camera around. How I can move the camera around could be achieved in real life. And what I mean here is how my camera glances the horizon of a ball. A camera in real life would glance the horizon of Earth in just the same fashion.
correct if you take into
Mismatch.
account the optical effects. Yes.
You see, I can see where you're coming from now, Chris, with the optical effects, and that is the arguable point. But what I see with the optical effects is you have optical effects at 3 miles, so to reduce that, we cut the distance in half, 1.5 miles. We were only at 3 miles, we were dealing with optical effects of distance. When I draw, I'm dealing with optical effects of blurring. Yes, would you agree? I drop my camera to the floor, I have the blurring of the floor, the ground plane.
Yes.
6 foot in the air, I have the optical effect of distance with atmosphere. That's causing the problem, just atmosphere, not the blurring from the ground plane, because that is sufficiently low enough. I don't get that. So now I'm struggling at 3 miles, but I don't have the ground plane. So I just ask the person, just come closer, 1.5 miles, just walk 1.5 miles away, and I'll just get myself down to about 2 foot height. With the ground plane.
Yes, all of
And now
those. Yes, if you
I can
drop the
now see the
camera.
horizon. Just on this point, would you agree that since I've eliminated the ground blurring because I'm 2 foot off the ground, do you agree that the horizon at 1.5 mile will be somewhat significantly clearer than the photograph I could take of a person at 3 miles?
Yes, if the
It's
conditions are
going to
perfect
result in,
and
yes,
the earth is the ground between you and the person is perfectly spherical, a perfect section of the circle. Yeah, you would see that. But yeah, I mean, we could you yeah. Now, are you open to learning more math and learning how to write equations?
no.
Why not? Because if you were able to do that, you could even more forcefully make your point. And the models that you make on your computer, they are good. I have been watching your channel over the past few weeks, on and off. Okay, and you do make good models, and those models use math within them. That's all I'm saying is whenever you claim that your model matches what an Earth would be, all I'm saying is just learn the math that the computer model is based on.
I already know the math that the model's based on. That's how I've got the model to be given to me. There is no set program to give you this
Okay.
sphere of the given circumference. There is no set as a Earth-sized planet. There is even no set on SketchUp. There is no set path to even getting a sphere.
Okay.
You
So if
literally have.
okay, so if you're open to learning more math and
No,
expressing
I've got to
things in
interrupt you.
equations,
What I mean is, I know the math for the globe. There is no
okay.
model.
But you also believe to
Yep.
you did say something like that you don't believe you used to believe math like a religion. You used to believe that religiously, but you don't anymore, right?
Yes, I've definitely said that. Yeah.
But I want to change you back to where you were before so that you believe in the power of math to prove
No, I'll tell you
things.
why I don't believe that. That is the 69 miles being the 1 degree. What I mean on the maths is mathematics is not something that's the Illuminati have invented. It is an expression of a language of having more of something or less of something and being able to distinguish between it. Me not trusting the mathematics is the mathematics can tell you that 69 miles is a straight line. And the teacher will clarify that by saying, look at this. that's a straight line. The student will go, well, yes, it is a
Approximately.
straight line.
Approximately.
Yeah. No, yes, but that's what will be conveyed. The message conveyed is it's flat, and that's why we cannot see the Earth, the curvature, because we are so small at our tiny size. That is the final message conveyed. Do you agree?
Approximately, yes.
No, as in the message, the final message conveyed is we cannot see it. It is flat, and that's the reason we cannot see it is because it's 1 degree and it's just that less. But the finality of the message is shit looks flat. Deal with it.
I never heard it like that. Okay, but
No, yeah,
I should.
you know where I'm coming from though with the flat Earth. I'm like addressing the psyop of it. In a nutshell, how to get it across, but that is what they're getting across. It's flat, kid, okay? It's flat, pupil, yeah? You that have come to school, just be quiet. It's really flat, right? And this is only because you're tiny. You see, if we do the maths now, if we take the full circumference of the Earth, now we take 1 degree, what is that 1 degree? It's a straight line, isn't it?
Um,
And it enforces it. It's unfair.
I didn't hear it like that. My math lessons were
No, yeah,
different.
that is me being cynical, as
Okay,
in I can't even remember how I've
but
heard it myself. I can't
but
remember being told.
I should get going soon. All right, I'm willing to talk to you again if you're open
Yeah,
to understanding the math and mastering it for yourself and using it to try to prove your own theory and being open to eventually like shutting down your channel if I show you enough mathematical and visual real life proof.
with visual, then yes.
Okay, okay. So with that, I'm gonna say goodbye.
Cheers, Chris. Nice talking, and see you later, yeah, mate.
Yeah, okay, bye, Lyndon.